Well, I think everyone
Quiet on the
contributed to
set.
that.
But we go back. Well, we'll talk later.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Stogie Geek Show. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian. Happy to be here coming off the Andre Farkas interview of Viaje Cigars. Make sure you check that one out. It was we had a lot of fun on that
Wow.
interview.
Yeah.
I want to say that the show is, of course, brought to you by Debonair Cigars. Visit stogiegeeks.com/Debonair for a complete list of retailers. We just got word that Mr. Phil Zangi, the founder of Debonair Cigars, will be appearing at the New Jersey Cigar Festival on May 4th. Tickets go on sale on March 3rd. You can visit njcigarfestival.com.
And I've been to that festival, and
It's a good one, huh?
Phil there. It's a good festival. They do a good. I was at the first year, and if folks are in the New York metropolitan area and you get a chance, there's some great cigar celebrities there. But if you get a chance to meet Phil, don't pass it up. It's worth the price of admission for that.
Now, we're also sponsored by the Havana Cigar Club, who's right next door. And actually, we've now got the capability to be able to view the show from their public area of their lounge, which is a gigantic area, 46 by 25 room. The TV behind the bar in that room broadcasts the Stogie Geeks live every Thursday night now, so you can come down here to the Havana Cigar Club and watch us live. They had an event with Kurt Kendall last night, and we'll keep you updated on future events. Mr. J. Havana Smoke Shop also has an upcoming event on Monday, March 3rd that will feature Perdomo cigars. Tickets are on sale now. You can call them, 401-822-0536, to get your tickets to that event and also order a lot of the cigars that we talk about on the show, including Debonair cigars. Again, 401-822-0536. Call them up to attend the event on Monday, March 3rd and order Viaje cigars, Debonair cigars, and, of course, the J. Grotto series of cigars. Alrighty. Will, what you been smoking?
All right, I'm gonna kick off with what I would say an Oasis candidate cigar. Yeah, and this was a real surprise. It's a cigar by Hammer and Sickle called the Sochi Limited Edition 2014. This was made by Hammer and Sickle. It was a retail exclusive to Two Guys Smoke Shop. They're not a sponsor. These were cigars that I purchased. I was intrigued by what I heard. They didn't talk much about the blend, but they mentioned there were 9 tobaccos in this, and it's in a 6 3/4 by 48 Churchill, and it was blended by Davidoff's Henke Kellner. So that was enough to intrigue me with this cigar. And this cigar did not disappoint. I mean, this was just a home run. I can't say enough about it. I've smoked through most of the ones I have. Classic natural tobacco sweetness, and that sweetness, it really kind of, after the first 10%, it kind of really amps up and has a little bit of a mixed fruit taste to it. It's got notes of wood. It's got some of those Davidoff grass notes in there. The balance was perfect on this thing. I mean, it finger nubbed each and every one of them. It's not going to overpower you with strength. It's medium. The body's probably medium to full. They sold out of these, and I'm trying to find out if they're ever going to do another run of these again, because this is a special cigar.
What size was it? Excuse me, Coop?
It's about a Churchill, which is a 6 3/4 by 48, which that length was just perfect enough for me with that ring gauge. Mm-hmm. You know, rather than a 7 by 49, I think that 6 3/4 by 48 made a real big difference on there.
Why is that, Will?
Well, I find that when you get a 7-inch cigar, towards the end, it just kind of goes south, with a longer smoke for whatever reason, especially if you smoke small. And I just think it's kind of like when we had Eddie Ortega on and what he did with his Lanceros, making them 6.5. I think there was just it's a difference. 7 inches is, a lot of people talk about big ring gauges. I think length, for me, a cigar could be too long.
Mm-hmm.
And, if they even went with this as 6.5, it probably would have been even better. But the 6 3/4 seemed to work real well.
Hey, what was the price of the stick, Will?
$10.99.
$10.99. Okay.
Worth every cent of it. It's a Chuck Norris cigar.
Wow, Chuck Norris, huh?
And I hadn't smoked Hammer and Sickle before, so it was just kind of intrigued. I said, let me order some of these, and I'm glad I did.
I done Hammer Sickles prior to that, and they were okay.
That's what I've heard. This one.
It was the angler for me. I mean, it was a try one. It wasn't my profile, but I've heard some what you're talking about, the same thing.
in terms of this
Oh,
this particular cigar?
yeah, what you're talking about, a lot of good buzz going around.
Yeah, I mean, apparently two guys got 100 boxes of 10, and the thing is, I'm trying to find out some information if they're. It's on the Hammer and Sickle website though, so I don't know what they're doing with it going for. I hope they do a couple more runs of this because this was just an out. I mean, I didn't give it an Oasis because I want to see what it does throughout the year. It has all the makings of an Oasis cigar.
Now, how many
in my book.
cigars did you smoke of this blend?
I smoked, I think, 3 or 4 of them.
So you got a decent handle on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely lived. I mean, it just lived up to everything. It's unbanded too, so they come unbanded, but they come in a nice commemorative box with the Sochi Olympics on it.
Yep.
I did the Viaje WMD from 2011, as I talked about, and really, as I said in the interview, this was just an awesome cigar. You know, when they first come out, they melt your face off. The strength is very much amped down. The flavor notches are very much amped up. All kinds of flavors happening. I mean, when you Will's holding one up for the camera right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna light mine up.
A little bit lower. A little bit lower.
A little lower, Will. Yeah.
There you go.
When you light that up and the initial flavors hit you, I find that that's the sign of a very well-aged cigar. That when you first light it up, those first few puffs, if those produce some tremendous flavors, that's how you know something's really well-aged. Something that I find that's younger, when you first light it up, you get a little bit of harshness, you get some weird kind of flavors. Something like this that has 3 years of age on it, it just was awesome right out of the gate, and I really, really enjoyed it. This is a fight Chuck Norris for him.
You know what? Andre made a great analogy, and what that is that whatever cigar you're smoking, whatever manufacturer, it may be aged 2 or 3 years that they have it, but when they put it together and they roll it, it takes time for that flavor to marry or meld, whatever word you want to use. And I think that's a great point. I really do. I think that's something that it holds true for a lot of different manufacturers. I think it's important. I think it's a great point.
You know, we as reviewers, we're kind of at a disadvantage to Andre's approach because, you know, we want to talk about the latest and greatest that he has, and sometimes it's probably not doing the justice that, you know, it's going to have over time, too. So that's kind of this double-edged sword we have.
Yeah.
This is the one, Paul, you inspired me to light up one from 2011, so this is a 2011 also.
I should have brought some. But you know something? It's only the cigar geeks, and I don't mean anything negative towards this when I'm saying, is that the true cigar geeks understand what aging does. And I think Viaje, what happens is that the initial smoking experience can fluctuate. Would you agree with that, everybody?
Sure.
And down the line, it performs. And nothing more than a holiday blend. That the 2010 came out, I just, you know, I said, oh, what's...
So the 2009 was the first one, but the 2010 he came out with a short Robusto.
And that thing...
God damn, that thing. If call me a
I didn't
liar,
like
that
it.
thing's not aging phenomenally.
Right. The whole thing is, when I first got it, I was like, here we go again. That's not right. But what he was talking about, give it time. Let it come together. And that 2010, I tell you what, I still love the 09, but the 010 more so, I think time did that very well. Anyway.
The mini torpedo that Mark Jr. is about to light up in that 2011 WMD blend, I thought was even better than the traditional, more mini Robusto.
I should have brought a couple of surprises, but I didn't.
Oh. Anyway.
I could have.
Stogie Santa. Speaking of surprises in your shorts.
Oh yeah, I got wet shorts. El Cobre, it's a private label by Oliva. The cigar comes in 4 sizes. It's a Robusto 5x50, Toro 6, the Toro 6x52, Churchill 6x40, and Torpedo, which is 6x52. Comes in bundles of 25. I went on a value kick. I did the Torpedo. Torpedo was just about roughly $95 for a bundle of 20. The appearance, you look at it, the wrapper had a lot of veins. It was dark and oily, the wrapper. If you look at it, you probably say, oh, my God, what's going on with this? But anyway, the dry draw had a nice little spice and raisin sweetness to it. This cigar was the first it performed and delivered nice coffee and spice, especially on the retrohale. That's why I got the spice on the retrohale. Was really good. The draw was just slightly tight, but not enough to really turn me off on this cigar. But what really brought this cigar was it was kind of a crazy thing. The aroma on this cigar that filled the room. We talked about Andre cigar. The same thing. It was like a grassy smell to it. I don't know if that makes. I mean, you say what?
Yep. An herbal type
Yeah,
of
exactly. It was really, really
Yep.
nice. The second third of this cigar, that raisin sweetness that I really enjoy, and it had a little nutty flavor to it. Then the strength amped up from a medium to a full body, and the construction a little spotty, but that didn't really turn me away from the cigar. You're looking at a $4.50, $5 cigar. How could you go wrong? The final third of this cigar, it changed up a little bit. What I loved about it, the earth came in this, and I'll tell you something, the spice was perfect. It really was. You're looking, the most expensive one was what I'm smoking at $95 a bundle. How can you go wrong? Overall, I thought this cigar was a great value. I call this, I say a box split. You can call it a bundle split, whatever you want to do. For that kind of money, for that value, you've got to try the cigar. I think Oliva did. It's a private label that Oliva did. And I tell you something, this cigar was, a friend of mine gave me this and was 3 years old or 4 years old, and it still had that strength to it. But I want to get this I want to smoke this right out of the box, see what it's all about. This kind of strength that it was on it, but the balance on this was great. It wasn't all about the strength at all. It was a well-balanced cigar. So I think this is something we got to look at as a crew. We got to get this cigar. I really, really, I like that raisin sweetness that we talked about before on the J Grotto on the Lancero. Very, very similar to that. And how can you go wrong at $5 a stick? You can't beat that. You just really can't beat that. So I've been a value kick of late. So that's where our listeners have asked us to do this, and I was very well happy with the cigar. Again, I couldn't go a full box worthy with this. I'll go with a box split with this.
Mark Jr.?
Yeah, before I get started, I'm going to give a shout out to Big Pete, listener. He shared this Skull and Bones with me a little while back, and kudos to you, my man. He's become a friend at this point.
There's nothing like Big
really
Pete.
awesome guy.
Yep.
First cigar that I smoked this week, and this is to follow up on Coop and Stogie Santa's raving over this cigar.
Mm-hmm.
I smoked a Rocky Patel Royale in the Robusto size. It's a 5x52 box press Robusto, Ecuadorian
Where'd you pick those
Sumatra
up,
wrapper.
Mark Jr.?
They got them at Mr. Jason.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you guys
Yeah.
had those in there.
They got a couple boxes of each, of 3 of the 4 sizes.
And the Corona, the Corona was, wait till you smoke the Corona. Anyway, go ahead. Excuse me, Mark.
I couldn't find too much, any consistent information on this. The only thing I could find that was consistent was the Sumatra wrapper.
Right.
Which he's used before on different blends.
Yeah, but it's totally different.
But I'll tell you what, man. This thing kicks ass compared to the other stuff.
It really, I can't.
I'm really, really stoked that Coop and Stogie Santa turned me on to this, because I was kind of off Rocky Patel for years, right?
I understand.
And this, I think I have to agree with Coop. Had nice coffee, earth, and cream flavors.
Yeah.
It had a nice pepper on the retrohale, but was not overpowering in any way. This cigar was really nicely balanced, and in my opinion, the best thing that I've had from Rocky in years.
I agree.
If he keeps this up, I may come back around. Put it that way.
And know what? Go ahead. Excuse me.
Go. No. What are you gonna say?
What happens is that this is a different factory that this was made at. It was made as a Nika factory, and I'll tell you what. When his rep came into the store, we had some conversations of what we got to do to change things up, and I'll tell you what. I took the bands off this cigar, and he left some samples, and people were mesmerized. Not mesmerized, but they were more than happy. They said, "This is what Rocky's got to do." And
Yep.
I don't know, Coop.
This
is
to me
something
falls
special.
somewhere in the $5 to box split type
Box
range
split
almost. Yeah.
at tops.
Yeah.
Tops.
I think this
Yeah.
is a very, very solid cigar, though. Actually, I think the $5 makes it. That means it's solid, right?
You're right.
And this falls firmly into that. It's a very solid smoke. I would definitely go to this again.
I smoked the Robusto actually earlier today myself, and it was just because I saw it in your notes last night, And yeah, the Robusto is really smoking good. I had reviewed the Toro, which I love the Toro, but the Robusto was excellent.
What did you say was better, Coop?
I think the Robusto is better.
Yeah, the Robusto at this point, and Max
Yeah.
Bickler, who we're going to have on a show later on in our other segments, said, wait till you smoke the Corona.
Yeah, I got to try that.
Yeah,
I'm interested to try all the sizes in this now.
Right, and I'm telling you something, it's well overdue for something for Rocky.
It's good for Rocky because he works hard. I mean, guy's always out there, sacrificing his time for the industry, and I'm really glad that he's got a cigar like this, and I hope it does well.
Right, and like I said, I took some heat by bringing this out because there's a lot of Rocky haters, and for whatever reason, I'm not going to get into it, and there's Rocky lovers. I don't want to get into that. But I think he's really done a great job with this. I truly do. So anyway, I didn't mean to rain on anyone's parade.
I smoked a Grand Habano Connecticut. This is a 6x60. It's got the green and gold band on the foot.
Yeah, that's a Connecticut.
Yeah, it's like a $5 to $6 price range smoke. The burn and construction are awesome. In fact, now that I think about it, for a 6x60, it actually burned pretty quick. I mean, not like fast, but faster than I think most.
It's very eerie.
Yeah, it burned a little quicker, but not hot.
No,
just faster than a lot of your other 6x60s.
It reminded me of the burning, and again, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
No, it reminded me of the Grand Cajono, how
Yes.
6x60.
Yeah.
Bing.
I think that's really what makes me like a 6x60 is that kind of burn rate. Not that it burns hot and harsh, because it didn't. The flavors were really good. It was actually very smooth. It went really well with a coffee in the morning. And to have a 6x60 like that deliver in the Connecticut, which I know a lot of the more traditional cigar geeks aren't a fan of, I tell you what, for $5 or $6 to have this in the morning with coffee, this is a $5 all day long.
Oh,
all day long.
It's a great call, Paul. It really is. It's not a blend a lot of people know about.
Yeah,
and
we talk value, right?
Oh, every
It
line they
delivers in
put
that
out. Grand
department,
Habano has great value in the Corojo. the
Oh,
number
I was
5.
just going to say, I'm glad you said that. The
Yeah,
Corojo
and
number 5 is
and they
one
have
of my
the shorts.
favorite.
You ever
like-
do the shorts? The
No,
shorts
I always
are-
go for
are
the
really,
Toro in that. I like
I
those.
tell you, the shorts do a great.
Well, and a lot of times we end up talking about Davidoff and Opus X and all these higher priced, higher end brands. So I wanted to make sure that we are more well rounded. So that's why I purposely chose this Grand Habano and specifically this price point and size because of the value that it delivers. And to kind of
great
round
call.
that out.
You know something?
George is doing some good work. He
No,
really is.
He does. George, I'm going to tell you something. And
He's consistent.
Oh, you can't beat that. That from the Triumph to the Czar to the Imperials, there's nothing higher than $7.99 to $8 in that cigar.
Yeah.
How can you beat that? You can't. And they just fly off the shelves.
They
at
do.
our
They're
store.
big sellers in a lot of
No,
stores, and
a
yours
lot.
included, right?
I just think
For a
they do.
value cigar, too, those Corojos age well, too.
Yeah. And the quality. They don't
Yes,
unravel.
right.
They draw well.
Yeah.
Just don't misunderstand. When we say value, it's not we're trying to use the
No,
word.
value's positive.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah, value's
Exactly.
positive. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cheap
and
is
value
different.
are
two
two very
different.
different
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you
Everything
said
they have is all a $5 to a box split all day long.
that. For a good price.
Yes.
Well, back
Great
to you.
call. I like that. The Connecticut. I like that call.
Yeah, it was good. That's a good one. Arturo Fuente Casa Cuba are smoked. I've been smoking these. Paul Stogies sent, and one of you guys sent me
I
one.
sent that down to you.
Yep. Okay. And then I was in Jacksonville last week. I picked up some more of these. I think they've gotten better. And this is a new line that was launched by Fuente at the end of last year. It was originally supposed to come out in 2012, but I think with the fire that they had, a lot of plans got changed. But they did a small batch release the end of last year, and I think the plans are they're going to be doing subsequent releases coming forward with this. It's a Ecuadorian Havana wrapper with Dominican binder and filler. I smoked the Doble Seis. All the cigars have domino names, which is a 6x52 Toro. Good. It was a good cigar. I had a lot of classic Fuente notes of that natural tobacco. It had some of those herbal retrohale notes, I got on there. The interesting thing is it had a very tangy taste to it. Originally, when I was smoking them, when I smoked the one you sent me, it was harsh, tangy. But the tanginess got more sweet. It had almost like that smoky barbecue taste to it. So I think the time was kind to it. I think it's peaked. I don't know if it's going to get much better, but it's a good cigar. it's not overpowering. It's medium strength, medium to full bodied. I think towards the end the body really amps up in terms of you really feel the flavors at the end. Not a home run, but it's a fiver. It's a solid cigar. I'd go back and smoke this out of the Fuente line again.
You know something? Prior to the cigar, when you're talking about the hammer and sickle, Coop, can you explain to the listeners what you would describe as balance in a cigar?
It's okay, and you may think I'm totally wrong on this. I'm saying there's a couple of ways you could talk about balance, but I'm talking balance from the flavors. So that one flavor is not overpowering the other, and it's contributing just enough flavor. So it's not kind of like when I'm critical of San Andreas wrapper, I tend to find sometimes it's overpowering and throws the balance off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I don't know if that was your
I don't want to say
That's
that
what I take out of it.
I don't want to say that you're totally wrong, but I think there's more components to that even, right? Because we can talk about this spice of flavor or as pepper, a flavor. Sometimes the experience has to be balanced too, right? There has to be the right amount of spice with the right flavors, with the right amount of smoke, with the right draw. I think kind of all play into balance and experience, right?
Of course, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Right. That's more so, and that's what because we use that word quite often, balance, and nothing overshadows one to the other. You may have subtle hints. Nothing overpowers one thing to another.
If I have to choose a cigar that I think is perfectly balanced all the way around with flavors, spice, experience, is that Padron Millennium blend, right? I think that's what separates it out from the pack as being extra special, is that it nails balance in every category almost perfectly.
I think in order for something to get to Oasis, balance is given, right? Like
no, I'll tell you.
Part of it.
Well, we're going to work on that. We'll talk about that later. Cool.
Well, over to you, Stogie Santa.
I did my what I call it is short to the point, and my it just always makes me happy when I smoke this. It's a Boulevard Petite Corona. Again, not expensive cigar. It gives me, it's a 5x46 Cuban. I just got to throw a Cuban out there. We haven't talked about it.
No, I'm glad you did. I
just had to throw it out there. You got an earthy, I got a slight coffee taste to it.
You're right.
But what I like is that cinnamon spice. And it's a full body. You talk about balance. You talk about the Millennium. That's why this was the second way into this.
To have that fuller body in a Cuban tobacco is...
I'll tell you what. I don't want to use that word for it, but this cigar, for its price point, you're looking, you can get anywhere from 100 for a box of 25. You can go anywhere from 125 to $140 for the cigar, and it brings me back. You talk about cleansing your palate. This cigar does that for me. It really does. It's a full body cigar, but it's not abrasive. Does that make any sense?
Nope, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I just love this cigar. It just makes me, it puts a smile on my face if I haven't smoked 200 of these cigars or more. All right, I've never had for a Cuban, check this out. Does anyone have an issue with construction on that?
I probably have, but that's just me.
No, how about Mark?
Petit Corona?
No. And I just love the cigar. I really do.
You know what?
I truly do.
I'm going to take that a step further. I don't think I've really had any consistent construction problems with any of the Cuban Petit Coronas.
No, and the one that I just ordered a box of 50. The
Puerto Añejo.
Yeah,
that's my jam. That's my favorite one.
I'm going to tell you something. Because of Mark Jr., I ordered a box of 50. He told me, and he said that...
It's all your fault, Mark Jr.
Yeah, it's his fault. And I just did a little research. There's a saying...
Don't smoke them for a while.
But exactly. The same thing with Petit Corona. It's unbalanced when you get them fresh. You need time with this cigar. You really do. Because if you get them and you smoke them out of the box, you're going to say, what the hell is he talking about? You put this needs a minimum of a year.
A year, really? Interesting.
Right, to me, because what happens, that cinnamon spice can just really, I call that cinnamon spice. I really do. It can overpower that cigar, and you'll just say, nah.
Is that the same amount of time it takes you to find the power adapter to your laptop?
Good asshole. Oh, okay.
No,
Uh,
he needs much more time than that.
Oh, man.
It's a good thing Apple has good battery life on
Yeah,
some
no,
of the
that's what I love about. Anyway, I've lost my laptop. I lost whatever. That's another. I'm old. Okay, I'm 73 years old. So it's. But I'm going to tell you something. For a Cuban, this to me, unfortunately, 2010 was the last time they put the 50 count in, and with the 50 count, I just found. You may think I'm crazy. Because of the not a lot of people go out and run these off, and they won't get the 50 count. Every time I got these, they were a minimum of 8 to 10 months old. The box of 25, you got to put them down. You get about 4 or 5 month age on those. So anyway, I had to throw a Cuban out there. I don't mean to go away from what we're talking about.
No worries.
But
Mark
anyway,
Jr. You got a very interesting illusion, eh?
I smoked the new Singular, the Rose Croix. For us Americans, I believe it would be Rose Croix if we were
Rose
French.
Croix, right? Thank
if we
you.
were French, but
I'm not French.
neither am I.
Fuck
That's
the
for
French.
sure.
Anyway.
It's a 7 by 46 Churchill. I couldn't find much on the blend information other than it's a Nicaraguan Puro.
Me either.
They were about $11.50 at the local B&M. They made 13,500 of these. Only 900 boxes of 15.
And they're gone, by the way.
Yeah.
I've been waiting with a decent amount of anticipation for this cigar to show up at the shop, right? And the 2010 Phantom,
It's
like
by far.
just holds like a special place, right?
Yep.
Paul talked about the Daisy Cutter, the Phantoms there, the Barclay
agree.
Rex is there.
Yep.
You know, these are like
Tatuaje T110.
the Pantheon, right? Really,
No. What is your explanation of what you call the best?
the belle of the ball.
There you go. I love that. I love that statement.
And
Bell of the ball.
Bell of
belle
the
of the
ball.
ball,
It's
yeah.
true. The 2010 is nothing like.
Yeah, but I will say this, right? This cigar was awesome. It had a beautiful reddish-brown wrapper, slight veins, a nice oily sheen to it. The stick started off with a nice white pepper, a little bit of like a Coop calls it a baker's spice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
It's a
had
great
that, you know, and it's I love that term. Like I think
Yeah,
Coop
you're-
nailed it for a certain flavor to me. It had some leather, some wood. As it went along, it developed a nice nutty flavor and some cream in the second third. Finally, it finished strongly with this beautiful sweetness. This has to be one of the best finishes of a cigar that I've had in some time. Like that final third really stood out to me. I'd have to say this cigar was box worthy.
Yeah, it's only.
all day, box worthy.
And not to copy. And it was funny. After what I normally do, if I do a cigar, if it's not up on Stogie Geeks, I'll go to Coop. There was one flavor he nailed it. Some people say cherry. I go with the berry taste. Was really interesting to me. What I loved about it, it came and it went. That's what I loved. This is my third cigar that I was looking at. But what I did, I was so much of an anticipation of this cigar. The only thing I found with this cigar that was, again, it was right off the truck. So what I found was a little slight wetness on the one. I only smoked one, and it gave me the little acidic taste at the end. That's when I say the end, I mean, God, I'm picking on it. I was nubbing it about this big, you know, and just a little acidic at the end. But again, that wasn't off the truck maybe an hour, and I couldn't wait to smoke it. I normally don't do that, but that cigar is box worthy. I agree with Sefman, but that berry sweetness, Coop, I can't agree with you more. That little sweetness, right, and I picked it up right in the middle of that cigar.
Yep.
It was a great call, but good assessment, Mark. I agree with your assessment.
That was my smoke of the week, too.
Oh,
by the way.
absolutely.
I did. This comes from listener Frank, I believe. In fact, guys, I have cigars for all of you from listener Frank. Will, I'll send yours. He sent up some Arturo Fuente Añejo, the Corona size.
46.
46s, thank
That's
you.
the best
Oh,
size.
wow.
And he also sent up some Illusione 888 slams.
Yeah, I got those.
Wow.
Each of which had about 3 or 4 years of age.
Thank
This
you.
I smoked the number 46 Añejo, And it's a great smoke, fantastic flavors, and I sound like a broken record. I still like the Shark best, but thanks to listener Frank for sending this in. It did have some great. I like the Añejo blend in, like you said, Mark. Those flavors that kind of come and go, those subtle flavors in the background. It's a very, as it ages, I find it to be almost kind of mild to medium is how I would describe the strength.
Yeah,
right?
for
They get a lot more punch when they first come out, but you put some age on them. They mellow out a lot, but those subtle flavors of sweetness and cherries are still there in the background. This is a box split for me.
That's a box worthy for me.
Me too.
I think that's the best representation of that cigar is in the 46.
I think I've probably smoked a couple boxes of these
Oh,
at this point.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's
And the go back to the how we pronouncing that now, the singular, was it LaCroix?
I'm going to call it Rose Croix, but
Rose Croix,
I'm
yeah.
not French.
Croix, me either. So I'm Irish. So anyway, the only thing I disagree with that smoke with you, Coop, I found it more of a mild to medium. You would call it more of a medium to almost full?
In terms of,
Strength.
I did. I kind of felt a little kick on that cigar.
Did you? I never got that. Again,
Yeah.
how old was how old?
They were. I smoked them. I got them, and I reviewed them within like 8 days, 8 to 10 days.
No,
So I mean, they were new. I mean, it was in that first batch that
Yes, same
shipped.
thing. Now, Mark,
I think I smoked mine within hours of you getting it.
yeah. I mean, it was pretty close to mine. What would you consider that strength-wise?
Medium minus.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah. But again, I love when a cigar can do. When you keep that, okay, we'll call it medium for the sake of
Right.
argument. But to give that flavor, isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
Dion, but he is unbelievable.
I'd love to pick that guy's brain.
Me too. We got to get him on a show. That he is, because another one. You ever do the Crown of Thorns, the number 2?
Oh, the Bellicoso.
Oh, is that something special?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. So anyway, Paul.
Am I going again?
Oh, Coop. I'm sorry.
I think okay. I smoked a pre-release of Fred Rui's new Nomad Connecticut Fuerte, which is a new core line he's got. He's going back to the Dominican Republic to make this blend. It's his Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper cigar with an Ecuadorian Habano binder and a mix of Dominican and Nicaraguan filler. I smoked a 5x50 Robusto. It's Fred kind of marketed this cigar, and I want to kind of talk about this point because I think it's a good point. As not your father's Connecticut cigar. So I think it's kind of in this mantra of no more of those mild-bodied, mild strengths Connecticut shade cigars. And, this one pretty much, I'd agree, it's probably more in the mild to medium strengths to medium minus, as we were just saying. I kind of like that word in terms of strength and body. It had classic Connecticut shade flavors of cream, natural tobacco sweetness. It had Dominican grass notes. It had a nice nutty flavor to it, too. It had this pepper bite. Now, if I wanted to say what the Fuerte was on it, it was this sharpness on the pepper. Not overpowering, but you just kind of, you felt it in regards to some of the other flavors. But I didn't find this to be revolutionary in terms of strength and body in terms of this Connecticut shade cigar. I think what's happened, this is my assessment, is over the past 3 or 4 years, a lot of companies have done this. And the needle has moved to the right in terms of they're not making the milds anymore in this. So I don't think Fred did anything necessarily revolutionary. I think he's kind of in line with what I'm seeing out of the industry right now. That was just my opinion, but it's a very good cigar.
I agree, Will, and I read your review of this, and you did speak very highly of it. I also smoked an Ecuadorian Connecticut with a whole bunch of kick on it, and this was the Nat Sherman Sterling.
Oh, I want to hear about this.
Yeah, and the size was the Corona Grande. It was a 5.7 by 46. When these first came out, I was kind of like, I let them age a little bit, and I really couldn't wait to smoke them because I think it's such a fantastic blend. These are on the higher end of the price point, around $13, $14 for the Nat Sherman Sterling Corona Grande, Stogie Santa, around
Yes.
that. And some of the marketing says, roasted cedar, bread, cocoa, cinnamon, sweetness, and creaminess. I have to say, that's pretty damn close. I mean, this is a really, really great cigar. I got a lot of those flavors that they described. You know, maybe not so much the cocoa, but definitely that cinnamon sweetness was very prominent in this cigar. It's mild enough where it was I would say, I mean, they describe it as mild medium. It's more on the medium end for me. It packed quite the punch when I smoked it with coffee in the morning. And I tell you what, though, this is one of my new morning staples. Being an Ecuadorian Connecticut Dominican cigar that really packs the right amount of strength with an awesome amount of flavor. This was definitely my smoke of the week.
I didn't get the punch.
I did, maybe because I smoked like it was my first cigar out of the gate in the morning.
Okay, morning wise.
Yeah,
maybe so.
I mean, versus like some of the other stuff I smoke in the morning, right? Which are the Camacho Connecticut or the Gran Habano Connecticut, you know, or an Oliva Connecticut. Those are on the mild end of it, right? This one's amped up. Yeah, when you compare it to those, right? First thing in the morning, it's amped up.
I think it's a great blend, and I was with Mike Herkalox at the show, and the only thing that scares people away is the price point.
Is the price point. The sizes are fantastic in this blend.
He kept them all. He kept them all in a
they
small.
Got a Corona
small.
Grande. They got a Lancero, which is a 6.2 by 43. They got a traditional Corona, and a two. Excuse me. Sorry.
Okay.
They got two Corona sizes. They got a 5 by 42 and a 4 by 40.
He also released a Super Lancero just recently, like an 8
really?
by 38, I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Yeah. I tell you, the job that Mike Herklotz has done with Nat Sherman has got to be one of the most amazing jobs I've seen in the cigar industry in the past few years.
Yes.
What he has done, and I think he's just scratching the surface right now.
Now these are
He kicked off
pricey.
with the Timeless, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
I love the 1930.
Me too.
The 1930 is a home run. And
Yeah,
that-
I mean, and
and
these
that
are all
Corona.
pretty pricey. I'm saying on the Sterling. Is that on the pricier side of the Nat Sherman line?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the highest.
Premium.
You're looking anywhere.
I'm
from
saying box split, but you may want to smoke all of them in the line, all the different sizes, and find the one that you like best. For me, this size is in the running. I've smoked some of the smaller Corona sizes. This one was really good.
And that's when you asked me one of the favorite ones that came on the show last year. Maybe I got kind of like the eyes were crossed, and I really enjoyed that smoke. I really did. It was something special. And like you said, Coop, it's a great point what Mike has done with this. Nat Sherman, he has totally turned this whole scenario around.
Production and distribution.
Yep.
Both ends. He had a lot of work to do when he came in, and he's done an amazing job.
Yep, I agree.
Stogie Santa, what else you been smoking?
That's my that's it for me. I did my 4.
What are you smoking now, Stogie Santa?
Nothing.
What?
No. The Davidoff Nicaraguan, the Robusto. Oh, God, I love that. I'll tell you what. This line is just a great line. It really is.
I agree.
It's very special. Anyway.
Dip into the budget and buy some more of those.
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
Mark Jr.?
I smoked in honor of Andre coming out.
Yeah.
Squeak.
Viaje Platino Reserva Double Torpedo. It's a double-edged sword
You're right.
size, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they called it Double Torpedo when he released it in the Platino, and he did it to Oro at the same time, if
That's
I'm not
correct.
mistaken,
He did,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. These were done in 2011, right when I first started coming into the shop.
Yeah, that's a good-
actually,
yeah.
as a matter of fact.
You grabbed the box, though, didn't you?
The funny story with that is on the Oro, I'd bought 10
I knew it
of
was
the
somebody,
Oro
and I
because
put
they were
in a
really
box.
limited. And then for some reason there was another 10 in a bag with my name on it.
Yeah, I put that in the back.
Yeah, and I bought those other 10 as well.
I
And
knew
let me
it was
tell you, I
somebody.
go back and smoke them regularly. Phenomenal.
This the Platino, it's the regular Platino blend. So it's got the Corojo 99 with the Nicaraguan binary filler. These were really limited too.
Yeah,
From everything I could find, there's only like 5,000 of the Platinos and 5,000 of the Oro.
Very limited run.
You
Very
can't get those anymore, yeah.
I don't have
No,
any more.
I don't have any more. You guys are learning.
I smoked the last of my Platinos. This was the last of my Platinos. I think I have 2 more Oros left. This stick had the typical creaminess and toastiness that you would expect from the Platino blend. Although I do have to say, this seems to be maybe has reached its peak. It may be on the
maybe I could
downside.
smoke them, huh?
Just on the Platino. The Oros are
The Oros
aging
are
much
awesome.
more gracefully.
I like the
as
Oros
would
better than
say.
the Platinos. I can see by your rating. It sounds like you do too.
Yeah, I rated
The
this
Oros
a try
are-
one. Whereas if I go with the Oros, even still right now, I would still say those are box worthy.
I still
agree.
think the Platinos in the beginning were I would have to go split a box.
Okay.
You know, but I haven't. I got maybe one left, but I gotta smoke them
You're
up.
so
huh?
full of shit. I'm calling you out right now. You're full of shit.
I gotta start smoking those.
He means one box.
Yeah, no, I haven't got that much, but I got about a little bit.
15, 20.
Oh,
Look at Coop just sitting there listening to us bartering here.
I smoked a 724 Lancero. I'm just calling this one a fiver. For $9, it's great smoke. It starts off really mellow. The construction was a little tough on this one. The draw was more snug than it needed to be. And I understand it's a Lancero, but what I liked is it starts off really mellow and it really builds in intensity. And that's why Mark Jr. mentioned something how you like this particular cigar. And I smoked this one right down to the nub, and I tell you what, that last third is really where this cigar shined and really what earned it that solid fiver rating for me. I wish that the draw was a little bit opened up a little more, but I thought it was a great smoke.
So what was the rating on that for you?
I gave it a fiver.
Okay.
Yeah, I said it was box worthy.
Yeah, I thought it was box worthy. I just recently had one of those too.
I got to smoke that, and then that will have a consensus.
Anyone else?
You guys got to get those at the shop, dude.
Yeah, I'll bring them down.
You got to get those.
Yeah, okay. We'll check it out.
That was it for my list.
I got one more I'll talk about.
What's
I have
that?
one more as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Mark Jr. talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I had a chance to smoke a few of them down in Florida over the weekend. It was the Inch Short Run 2014 by E.P. Carrillo. Dominican Corojo wrapper, Nicaraguan Corojo binder, and fillers Nicaraguan and Dominican. I went with what Mark Jr. had. I smoked the 60 ring gauge, the 5 7/8. I'm pretty much in agreement with Mark Jr. on this in terms of the flavors here. Mark Jr. was definitely spot on. There's not a lot of spice that's going to come out of this cigar. I definitely taste the Corojo sweetness on it. So there was definitely, it's definitely Corojo. It's very different than anything I've had from Ernie before. That being said, it's a good cigar. It's a fiver. But when you compare it to the 4 previous short runs, it's in some very hard competition. And to me, it had nothing to do with the ring gauge size. I know, Mark Jr., you're not a fan of the ring gauge. I was able to deal with the 65. It's just, you look at the 2013 short run, the 11, the 10. I mean,
it's a different blend.
It's stacked
It's a
up
different
against
blend.
the competition there.
I just think what he did when he put that short run on it, I think it was you're talking about a Corojo, a totally different cigar. And Mark, after his assessment, I went and smoked one. I gotta say, it was okay. It was okay. It's just fair enough. No, but it comes to a 60 ring with him. No one, when it comes to an S though, no one blends a better larger ring cigar. That's my opinion.
That's kind of like my assessment too. And the only other person I've seen really do it now is Hanky with the Year of the Horse, which he did do a great job with the 60. But yeah, it's just, again, he's got some epic blends in that short run line. And I don't know if this one, like I said, it's a good cigar, but it's of the 5, I rated the 5th. That's not saying it's a bad cigar. It's still
It's
still a good cigar. I mean,
it's all day long a fiver. What you ring
that's
it?
what I've said, 5.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I call it a fiver all day long. I really
So
do.
the short run Inch, you're saying fiver?
all day.
Most of the other
All
ones
day.
are Chuck Norris level.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm not trying to be a shill. Mark nailed that to the T, because the first thing I did, that's what I went back and smoked, because I came in. I got what I'm doing now. I'm doing some blending for our different smoke for Mr. J's, and I had to go to this, and this is again, I'm going back to what Mark Jr. was saying, going into the Corojo. What he did, I was surprised by not the sweetness, but the strength was medium at best. And I'll tell you something, it's a great smoke. It's a 60 ring. It's really good. But again, that 60 ring smoker and up on our area of the woods, it's just that price point is like they just, and it's not that expensive. But it just seems, but the 60 ring gauge smoker is a more value type of.
I just wish
Now,
he kept to the regular.
It's
sizes.
interesting
Yes.
to kind of segue a little bit. Asylum, right, is known for their larger ring gauges.
I know you're going with
and those
this.
are hot sellers, right? They're coming out with a Lancero, and I think it's actually smart, right? Because I think they've got a really good market with their 60 ring gauge value smokers, as you mentioned, Stogie Santa. And for some of the more Stogie geeks of the world, right, I like their 60 ring. I think it's good. It's not something I reach for all the time. But if they put out a Lancero, maybe they can start appealing to that other
that
market.
4x44.
That 4x44 is awesome.
It's awesome. So we got some samples coming our way to
Yeah, I want to
check
smoke
it out.
that.
Yeah, we'll let's see what's coming on. Maybe we'll see. We'll see.
Anything else?
I'm all set.
I got one.
Okay,
go ahead,
what we
Mark
going
Jr.
with?
I smoked for the first time the new Drew Estates Nika Rustica. So far, it's only come out in the one size, right? The 6x52 Toro. It's a little thin for a Toro, but you know. It's a Connecticut Broadleaf Mediums wrapper. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but because it was a pretty dark cigar. San Andreas Mexican Negro binder and a Nicaraguan filler. I think this might be the first cigar I've seen with a Mexican binder. Very reasonable price point at $7 a piece. If rustic was what they were going for, rustic is what they got, right? It's a very veiny wrapper with a closed foot and that seemingly faded, orangish type band really plays into that rustic feel as well. Beyond that, though, I'd say the cigar was fairly sophisticated, actually. The stick had the typical Drew Estates draw and smoke production
Great point.
that everyone, like every stick they have has that.
That billows with smoke.
Yeah.
Loose
Their
draw.
draw is always typically a little looser than what I would like to see, but I've never had one burn hot or anything like that.
Yeah,
I just
no, I
like
agree.
a little bit more of a stiffer draw or deliberate, as I've said before. The flavors were nicely balanced. It was full flavored with hints of cocoa powder and spice. As the cigar went along, the cocoa came forward a little bit more and really came to the forefront of the flavor profile. I'd say it was probably mild, medium in strength.
That's medium.
Medium, mild, medium.
Top, depending on what you're used to smoking.
Yeah.
If you're an experienced smoker, I say mild, medium.
I think this is a nice success for Drew Estates, to be honest with you.
For the price point.
They nailed it, right? With the price point, and it's a good cigar. The construction's good. I'd say box split, although it's probably out of cab of 50. I think they come in 50 boxes.
I think they do. I think you're right, Mark Jr.
Yeah,
I think it's a cab of 50.
I would say it's probably worth a box split if it was a traditional box size. That's why
Yes.
I say that.
I agree.
I bring a fiver all day long.
I think I had
Okay.
a fiver for it.
Me too.
I'm with Mark Jr.
but-
I'd want more than 5 of these. I really like that
No,
smoke a
but
lot.
the only thing is, Coop, please, I want you to elaborate on this. I think you went on. I was supposed to go on the Drew Estate a safari, whatever it was. Didn't you say they changed or tweaked this blend from the initial situation where you thought that what you had in the beginning was a little bit different with the tobaccos?
Yeah, I was actually. They confirmed that. So when we were down at the safari in May, Steve Saka handed us this thing called Nika Rustica. Now the thing is, it's using the Rustica strain of tobacco. They put
Right.
a leaf of it in there or a small amount of it in there, and it delivered a very different cigar. It was kind of a rough, rugged cigar. It had a lot of firepower, much more firepower to it. I mean, it was definitely full strength, full bodied. And I liked it a lot. In fact, it was just something very different. I don't know why they made the change, but when we got to the show, we were told the Rustica tobacco was taken out and the blend was tweaked. My guess is they did want to make this a core line, and I would say that what we had on Cigar Safari was more of a niche smoke.
Okay.
It wasn't for everybody. But that Cigar Safari one, I really wish they'd do a limited run of it or something because it was good.
Excellent. Any updates on contests?
Real quick, we have the contest for our box worthies from the listeners. We're getting a lot of emails from that.
Yeah,
So
So
I
I'm
see
making
those
sure I
come
don't
in,
miss
yeah.
any, and I think we're going to keep the contest open for a few more weeks, and we'll do a segment going through some of those. I think sometime in March. So get them in there. The prize pack is the 5-pack of the J Grotto Lancero, Reserva Lancero, and the La Aurora.
The La Aurora Cameroon
blank, too.
Lancero. I know,
Yep.
I got a little brain fart myself.
Yep.
But this is aged. This is very special.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it is. So keep them coming in, folks, because we got some good lists in there. It's like
Yeah, I
kind
thought
of
so.
It's gonna be. There is no loser because they've got some great feedback.
As
Yeah,
usual, too,
yep.
we're not picking it on what your list is. We're picking them at random. So
Yeah, we're picking them at random. We're not judging the list, and we'll read a few of them on the air. I think when we close the contest out in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Next week, we've got Seth Guys. Did I pronounce that right?
Yep,
Plus Catfish.
yep. And we had Seth on, but that was kind of the dental show. But Seth is going to be back on,
Dental
and
show.
Seth is actually now hosting a show on Cigar Federation called What Embargo, and there's a lot we could talk to him about. We talked a lot about with Cubans with him last time, but there's a lot of areas he's got a wealth of knowledge, that guy.
And we're gonna do we're gonna smoke an unbanded from Seth.
We're going to smoke it
On
on
that
Bandit
show.
from Seth.
So don't forget to join the CRA, Cigar Rights of America. Protect our rights to smoke these fabulous cigars that we talk about each and every week here on the Stogie Geek Show. Make sure you tune in next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. If you're in the area, come on down. You can be here in our studio or next door in the viewing room at the Havana Cigar Club and watch the show live. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Stogie Geek Show.